Computer, and we are live. Not quite as live as I had wanted to be, but we are there anyway. And we're here on Zoom together with Janet Swartz, who is a very dear friend of mine. And I'm going to tell you about her in just a second. I had the page all set up, but then I had to switch it to do something else that didn't work. Anyway, Janet is my guest today. Janet and I have known each other for at least 40 years. So when I say she's my dear friend, I actually mean it. Someone from my past. Now, Janet has developed what she calls the empowerment process. She developed it back in 2005, and she began teaching other people how to use it right away. This is a powerful system for transformational healing and is so effective to transform your energy to meet your goals. And she has been involved in advanced tools and techniques over the past years. Janet developed the empowerment process for anyone to learn and use for themselves and their families. She spent the last 30 years facilitating others and teaching empowerment process workshops to clients and students to help them live their best life. And the results have proven to be powerful, positive, and life-changing. Welcome, Janet.
Oh, thanks so much. And I'm so honored to have worked with all of these people over the years and helped them in their empowerment. So thank you very much for having me.
Wonderful. Now, Janet, I had already moved away from Fairfield, Iowa, where we were all living at the time that you developed the whole process. So I don't really know how this all started. How did it come to be?
Okay, so I think you might say that the long distance healing and the transformational healing and the energy healing came to me when my daughter was diagnosed with a Wilms tumor, which is a kidney tumor, when she was just entering kindergarten. And it was really a difficult situation in the sense that she complained of backaches, and I would take her to healers and other doctors, and nobody really found anything until I took her to a pediatrician, and he put his hands on her abdomen and felt that there was a big mass there. And I said, "What does a big mass mean?" He says, "Just go up to Iowa City and get a picture taken." And a big mass means a tumor. And it was the size of a football. And she was a pretty little girl. She was very little, actually, what I meant to say. And anyway, so there was 2 years of surgeries and 3 kinds of chemotherapies and other stuff, and many surgeries. And it was like I survived it and she survived it. And what I wanted to do was to be able to treat the whole person, even though she had Western protocol, which was effective at the time. I really wanted to treat the whole person. I wanted to learn about alternative healing. So that's what I did. And I learned about the meridians and the chakras and, different types of things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, I figured it can't be this complicated, right? People don't have to learn all these kinds of things. So that's
I
how
wanted to mention just briefly, if you don't mind, that when my own son got cancer for the first time, Janet was the very first person to call me and to offer her help. And she had been through things with her daughter, Deborah. And so she was able to just give us some starting information that we needed. Like, I'm not even going to mention what everything you said was, but it was so, so helpful. And I so appreciated that.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I didn't remember it really. And it was really kind of neat that you remembered that yourself.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. So you started with other kind of healing techniques, right?
Yes, I did.
And how did the empowerment process come out?
So, well, that's a whole other story, but I figured with another client that it had to be simpler. And so right away, my creativity perked up, and I developed a course and I called it at the time, Following Your Intuitive Guidance for Positive Energetic Transformation. And because I didn't feel that I had a corner on the market of this work, right, that I was developing. So I taught it, and it seemed to go over pretty well. And then I was invited for a weekend in Texas, and I made it into weekend course. And I find that the consciousness of a group really makes a big difference. Maybe. And I was already a meditation, transcendental meditation teacher, and I knew about the whole feeling of transcending and collective consciousness and so forth. But this was about self-healing, and it's 10 steps only. And so that's the kind of thing that I work with people as a mentorship or an individual. And I teach that and some of the other courses that you talked about. So anyway, did I
Yes.
answer the question?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Okay.
And I know you've given seminars in a bunch of different places. I used to read about you giving a seminar for a women's organization or something in
Yeah,
Iowa every year. What was that?
it was called Beyond Rubies.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah. And it was originally 3 days and then 2 days and then 1 day. And I don't know what they've done. I don't think they've done anything actually during the last couple of years. But anyway, so it went pretty well. And I originally learned about it because I went with a friend who was presenting, and I just was an observer at the time. And I decided to go into another, whatever forum that I chose at the moment, And
Right.
I went into an energy healing workshop, and it was really very fascinating. And so I figured, well, then I could probably present, and I was accepted, in the future. I did it 3 times, I think.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember hearing about it several times. And you presented in different places around the country too, I think, right? You just mentioned Texas.
Yeah, I've done many courses in the United States and a couple internationally as well. And
Mm.
more recently on Zoom, actually. Good
Well,
old
yes,
Zoom,
that's the place of choice. That's where we are, and it
Yeah, and
works
technology
for
is
today.
really, AI is really moving, and I just, it's amazing to me. I don't think I can keep up with it actually, but nevertheless, we spend time in front of the computer. And
And you
it's really
also
nice to see you.
Yes, it's wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the other day when I was talking to you that you had been on Bat Gap, Buddha at the gas pump. That is,
No, I've never
you've
been
never
on
been on
that.
there? Okay, well, never mind then. You never,
Okay.
never mind that. Now, I would love to know from you what a really memorable transformation that you helped someone create
Oh,
was.
I have so many. It's like, okay, so it just depends on the forum. So if you want to talk about, this is a good one, and it's sort of in the area of health again. And I've done many with relationships, a big deal really for people who, have been divorced and people who are young, looking for relationship, both of that. But this is a lady. I'll call her Daisy just because it's easy. And she went to her doctor, and she had her usual blood test. Every year she would go. And this one indicated that she might have cancer, and she was just beside herself, as you can imagine, not a happy camper in any way. So I get this frantic call, and she can't sleep, and she can't this, and she can't that, and the results are a few days away. So I said to her, do you want to suffer if you are okay, if you don't have cancer and so forth and so on? And she said, indignantly, she says with her hands on her hips, no, I don't want to suffer, And then she said, then I said to her, well, if you do have cancer, do you want to suffer? And she got very thoughtful and said, of course not. I don't want to suffer in either case. And so I knew that she was open, that she'd gone deeper, in her thoughts, and that she was ready for a transformation. And so we went through the transformation, and do you want to know the results?
Yes, absolutely.
So she didn't have cancer, and she didn't have to die of worrying anyway. No.
Worry can be such a big thing. It can make you sick,
Yeah,
and that's
for
never
sure,
good.
for sure. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's a story. I have many, so
Yes, I'm sure you do in the 30 years that you have been doing this kind of stuff.
anyway.
Now, my audience is primarily women who are 50 and older.
Oh, okay.
Do you have anything special that you can say to them to help in their own empowerment?
Sure, I can. I mean, there's no question in my mind. It just kind of depends what people are looking for. So if they're looking to be loved, which everybody is, then, and if they're, I don't know, they're married or they're single, whatever. Say, are many of them single? I mean, I don't know.
It varies.
It varies. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give an example of somebody who had her children, okay, that were grown. She had 5 kids. And her husband, I guess he got sick or something like that. And so I don't think he passed or anything, but she divorced him anyway, or they divorced. I don't know, who did what, and she really wanted, because of her passion and who she was, she really wanted a relationship. She wanted to be loved. She wanted to be, So she had 2 guys in her life, right? One was a big promiser, wanted to take her on a trip and wine and dine her, and he was really into her, but she wasn't attracted to him. She was really attracted to this younger guy who accepted her and loved her and held her and so forth, but he also would leave her for other people. And it's kind of like, well, she was really smitten with him, so she hung on and she kept that relationship going for a while. So when she finally called me, and she told me this stuff that I'm telling you, and I said, well, have you ever considered a third, something else, a third scenario, third example, third scenario? And she said, no, she never really had. And I said, what if you gave up these 2 men, okay, and a void is filled right away. Void is filled quickly. And maybe, somebody else will come in, but you can't have another person, if you're not going to give these up, right? So she did. She had the courage to do that. And sure enough, somebody filled, and she's pretty happy right now,
Wonderful.
She has a partner. Yeah. And she gets the love that she needs. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but
That will do. Absolutely. Very well. It's always good to hear the inspirational stories of someone grasping, taking a hold of the power that is in there.
exactly. Yeah. We're such powerful people, really. And often I show the chakra system, I show the different colors of the chakra system, and our heart energy is so big. It's so much even bigger than the brain, which is pretty powerful. Our thoughts are powerful. And we really want to let go of those that are not serving us, really.
Right. Oh, that's great. Yes.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying.
Thanks.
Now, you are going to be giving a webinar. And my understanding about this webinar, I'm going to ask you to tell us all about it, is that this is free to
It is.
people who are listening. This is free to friends of people who are listening.
Exactly.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's actually it's actually a masterclass, okay, as opposed to a webinar, because it's in the same mode of Zoom. It's in a meeting mode, so it's a little bit interactive.
Okay.
But okay, just wanted to say that, and it's called "Become Your Own Healer" is the name of it, and I put out 3 keys for self-empowerment. And I think it's very powerful. And I don't know if I should share them now but they're very powerful. And it's on March 15th, which is next Wednesday. It's in a few days. And it's at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's Central Daylight Time because we start daylight savings soon.
Right.
So it'll be like an hour earlier for East Coast, and it'll be like an hour earlier for everybody. It'll be like an hour earlier, but it'll be an hour later. But I don't know how to say
it gets all confusing, but just we know that it's 7:30 Central.
night. Yeah. It's on Zoom, and the way to sign up is just to go to my website. Is the easiest way. It's kind of I figured out Eventbrite and I have it on that. And you just, all you do is you go to my events, which is on the right on my homepage.
And what
And
is
right
your
on,
homepage?
yes, I'm going to give you that in a minute. Thank you for asking. But and then you just click on it and it'll take you right to the event thing that you can sign up for. And my homepage is empowermentprocess.com.
Nice and
Makes
simple.
sense, yeah. And it's https:// or www. It'll still take you there, I think. Yeah,
Now, when
empowermentprocess.com, yeah.
when people go to your masterclass, will they learn things that they can use themselves to
Yes,
work on healing themselves?
yes. And so the three principles are something that you can use anytime. And I sort of know this for a fact because I had a chance for someone to use it for me, before I would give it out, and it was very soothing. Yeah,
Wonderful. Well, that
self-empowering.
sounds like an event that's worth going to. And I was wondering, do you certify people to do the empowerment process as well?
Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, I have facilitator training and I have teacher training. And so I kind of handpick, especially the people for teaching. And I did a course on Zoom I think last spring, and I certified 4 people. But I don't know about the certification being a real certification. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that I do. So I don't understand.
Well, it strikes me as being that there is no one better, since it's your system, to certify people
Yeah,
in your
right.
system.
I am an expert, I have to say, in that
Yes,
particular field. Yeah.
yes, perfect.
Thank
Well,
you.
is there anything else you would like to add to our
No,
listeners?
not really. I just that it kind of went fast. The www.empowermentprocess, which is one word.com, went a little bit fast. Um, and I speak quickly. So I just want to make sure, because my website is really very educational. It's not particularly a marketing piece,
Mhm.
but if people go onto the menu bar, for example, there's all kinds of stuff there. There's newsletters from 3 years. There's many videos. There's even a video on the home screen. It's 13 minutes, and then there's some audios that you can. I can't read. I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess I can't put it up now, but it's pretty easy to navigate. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds terrific. And well, I'll post it in the comments on when I post this on Facebook. We were intending to do a Facebook Live today, but somehow the technology gods were frowning upon me and I
It's
didn't
okay.
make the
It
connection,
happens. It happens.
but it will go up on Facebook.
Okay, thank you so much. I really
Okay.
appreciate, and I
Thank
love
you.
meeting all. I mean, I haven't met any of your people, your ladies, but love you all and have a good day. You
Thank
too.
you so much, Janet, for being with us. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thanks very much too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.